Namaste. Welcome to Yin Yoga. I'm Elizabeth, and I am so glad you joined me for this virtual Yin Yoga class. As with all of our other Soluna classes, you want to make sure that you get yourself set up, making sure you've carved out this time for yourself to press pause and let everybody know that you would not like to be disturbed during this time. Silence your phone, hang up your in session sign, and take some time to get some props and things that you might need for the practice today. So you'll want a mat or a towel or blanket, something that you can put underneath you. You might enjoy to have any kind of cushion or pillow with you. We do use props sometimes in Yin Yoga. There's always that option. So gathering that now while you have, before you get into the practice. If you happen to have blocks, any kind of blocks will do. You can also use books, thick books, or anything else, even cans, canned goods, anything that can give you a little bit of extra support would be helpful. No need to go out and buy blocks. Also, a blanket could be helpful. So we'll use the blanket. Again, all of these are optional, but we'll use the blanket to pad our knees a little bit, to use for extra support in certain of the shapes we'll be in today. So take some time to gather up if you need, gather up the supplies if you need to pause the video and then come back to it once you've got your supplies, and that would be great too. And then when you're ready, we'll begin lying on your back, and you can lie in any comfortable position. If you'd like, you can close your eyes here. Begin to relax the whole body, from the bottoms of the feet up to the top of the head, knowing in the practice that follows, we are really relying on gravity to support us. Relaxing the body. And bringing awareness to the belly. And as you breathe in, feeling the belly rise gently. As you breathe out, feel the belly gently draw in. If it's helpful for you to have your hands there, you can do that as well. So inhaling, abdomen is expanding. As you exhale, the abdomen gently draws back in. You have your hands on your belly, continuing with this breath. Maybe your pointer fingers are touching. And as you breathe in, there's a little separation of those pointer or middle fingers. As you exhale, the abdomen draws in and the fingers come closer together. So going on your own, feeling the expansion and then the contraction. Full abdominal breath. Then we'll add on and bring the breath a little bit higher. We're working into the thoracic spine, so you can move your hands up toward your rib cage if you wish. Again, the middle fingers touching. And as you breathe in, feel the abdomen expand and then the rib cage expand gently, laterally. And as you exhale, feeling the rib cage come back toward each other, and then the belly draws gently in. Again, inhaling, feeling the abdomen rise, expansion at the middle of the chest. Exhale, let the ribs come together and the belly pull in gently. Trying that again. Inhale, abdomen, middle, and then exhale, drawing the ribs together and pulling the abdomen slightly in. Expanding that breath even higher up, so we'll work with a three-part yogic breathing. This part will be the upper part of the chest. So as you breathe in, feeling the abdomen expand, then the ribs, and then all the way up to the upper chest. You can move your hands up there and feeling a little separation toward the collarbones. As you exhale, release the upper chest, the ribs, and the belly. Again, inhaling, abdomen expands, ribs separate slightly, and sending the breath way up to the collarbones. And then as you exhale, softening from the top, the middle, and the bottom. Again, inhale, belly, ribs, upper chest. Exhale, upper chest, ribs, and belly. Taking a few more 3-part breaths on your own, feeling a full, complete expansion. That way we use our whole lung capacity. And as the contraction happens, the exhale happens, the navel at the end draws into the spine so we can activate, work with the vagus nerve, creating a sense of relaxation. Taking a couple more on your own, please. And after your next exhale, allow your breath to resume its natural state. Just feeling the effects of using the full lung capacity, bringing in fresh energy, and then bringing about a sense of relaxation. So working with those two opposites, like we have the yin and the yang, so our more yang active lifestyle, balancing it with this yin practice. And then gently drawing the legs to touch and stretching the arms overhead, taking a big stretch of the body. Whole body is stretching nicely. And then as you exhale, bending your knees, rolling over to one side, and then slowly sitting up. Coming to any comfortable position. And close your eyes again if you'd like to. We'll begin with the Pranava Om 3 times. Taking a breath in. Namaste. Welcome to your class. As always, please go at your own level. We are all built differently and have had different experiences in our lives, so tailor this practice to do what's best for you. We'll begin with a wide leg child's pose with a twist. So for the wide leg child's pose, you'll sit back on your heels if that's available. If it's not available, you can use a blanket in between your seat and your heels. And for this variation today, we're going to take the knees as far apart as possible. When you're ready, you'll begin to come forward, lengthening the arms out onto the mat. You can take a moment here, bringing the forehead to or toward the floor, keeping the hips pressed back and the arms forward. A few more breaths here, just starting to move into the groin area a little bit, up the insides of the legs. But we're actually going to move this into a twist. So it's a wide-kneed child's pose with a twist. So for our twist today, we'll extend the right arm out, take the left arm and thread it underneath your right arm. so that the palm is facing up. And then you begin to settle down onto your left ear. If you'd like to use one of your props, your pillow, or anything that you have, a block, you can do that to rest your head on. And once you get set there, so we want to stretch through the left side, that left arm, the left shoulder. You can either walk your right fingertips further forward, out to the side, or bring the arm behind your back with the palm facing up. Wherever you are, you really want to settle down onto that left side, making any necessary adjustments now at the beginning of practice. So each pose will take time getting set up into the posture, and then we'll be holding them for between 3 and 5 minutes, depending upon which posture we're holding. So the beginning of each posture is the time where you get set up. Take that time, find the arm variation that works best for you. And then settling in. Allow the hips to feel really heavy. Scanning the body from the feet to the head. Making sure you remember to scan the arms for any residual tension and see if you can allow that to release. You can call into mind the 3-part breathing we did while you were on your back. And bring that into the practice if you wish. So the yin practice is one of surrender, it's one of stillness. But with that surrender, there's the feeling of being held. I love the thought of yin as this dark, comfortable, but not totally comfortable, supported practice. Targeting into the connective tissues. We have one more minute here in this wide-kneed child's pose with a twist. You always have the option to come out sooner. But please make sure it's your body and not your mind telling you you need to come out. Check in with your body. See if you can hang in there. Never overdoing it though. We like to use 70% for the yin practice. Not more, not less. The Goldilocks spot is about 70%. So there's definitely something going on. But it's not pain. Any sharp, intense pain, sudden electrical pain, please back out. Well, that was 4 minutes. So if your right arm was behind your back, you can gently release it. If it was slid out to the front, you can slide it in underneath the shoulder, bringing the palm underneath the shoulder. Press into that palm to gently come up. Take your left arm out. And we'll pause for a moment here. Then we'll begin to explore that on the second side. So staying where you are. We'll begin by reaching out with the left arm, taking the right arm underneath, so you're threading that through the armpit, coming onto the right ear. Again, rest on something. This side might feel different, so take your time setting up. We will be here for 4 minutes, so making sure that it's something you can sustain. Once you feel that right shoulder and right ear with contact with another surface, you can decide what you'd like to do with the left arm. So that might mean stretching it out in front of you, right in front of you, to the side a little bit, or it might mean bringing it along the back with the palm facing up. Once you've found your arrangement, resolve to be still. And therein, my friends, is the hardest, most challenging, most advanced part of the practice. It's that stillness. Can you allow your mind to be quiet? Can you allow the body to surrender? Remembering you can always come back to the 3-part yogic breathing, filling up the abdomen, the ribs, up to the clavicle area, and then exhaling from the clavicle, the ribs, and the belly. You might even extend the exhale, making it a little bit longer, the more yin side of the breath. Hips are heavy. Notice if you're holding any tension in your hips and see if you can release them. Make sure your knees feel safe. Allow the right shoulder, the left shoulder to relax, the facial muscles to soften. Please enjoy 1 more minute here if that's an option for you. Staying with it if you can. And this is an interesting practice to do on your own. When you're in the class, you might feel, not pressure, but you may feel that community sense that everybody else is holding the posture. And you might find you have more, your mind or your body wants to move out, and you'll do that if you're on your own. So just imagining that you're in your class, surrounded by community. Very nice. If you're ready to come out slow and you had your arm behind your back, slowly slide it down. If you had your arm in front, slowly sliding it back so that your palm presses down underneath your shoulder. Use that left palm to help you up and gently, gently unwind. Moving your props out of the way. We'll enjoy a rebound here. So very slowly, sitting back, and bring one knee in and then the other knee in. And then come down onto your mat. You can rest on your belly or on your back, very slowly and gently. We'll take a minute here to release any congestion that might have been released in the posture. Let go. You can make a pillow for your head, turn it to one side, or rest your forehead on your arms. Just release and relax completely. Release any tension from the hips, the thighs, the shoulders. letting gravity support you. Trying that full 3-part yogic breath if you'd like. It's nice to feel it on the abdomen as opposed to on the back like we did earlier. Very nice. And then we'll take some movement. So here's our little glimpse of yang mixed with the yin. You can take your knees side to side. Take anything that feels good today. I'm feeling like a cat stretch would be nice, and maybe shaking my hips out a little bit. Good. All right, and then we'll prepare for our next yin posture. It's going to be a series of 2 different postures with a rebound in between. So the first will be the dragon. With the dragon, you might want to have something underneath your knees. I highly recommend a blanket, or you can double up your mat if you don't have a blanket handy. But something under your knees to make this a little bit more pleasant. So placing your knees onto the mat. If you have blocks or books or cans or something you can use for support. So you can use them for support, so take them in front of you. So this is the dragon, and we'll begin on the left side. So we'll take the left foot forward between the hands, and then if you'd like, you can stretch the back toes out. Let's take a moment here to get set up. Take as much time as you need to get set up. Hands can be on the floor. Hands can be on blocks. Hands can be on the thigh. If you'd like, you can also come a little bit deeper by bringing your left knee out to the side, bringing your block or your props inside, and then you can fold forward. Pressing the right toes back, making sure you're not on your kneecap, that you have support under your knees. So this is a variation of dragon, or the more upright version, and one of the upright versions of dragon. So take some time here, making sure that you feel like you can sustain this. We're holding this for 4 minutes. So coming to a sustainable variation for yourself. And use that time in the beginning to really get set up so that you can then be still. Everybody is built differently. Everybody has had different experiences. Even on each side of the body, you may be very uneven. That's normal. Let's just embrace that. Do what you need to be able to sustain this. Again, not more than 70%. And also the time of day varies. So if you come to class Wednesday evenings, typically at Soluna, that's evening. The body's a little bit more open. Maybe you were sitting at a desk all day. Maybe you have a job where you were walking around or on your feet. Things are a little bit different now that we're practicing at home more. But I'm practicing this in the morning, and I feel a big difference than when I practice in the evening. Let the hips feel heavy. Mind is quiet. Always knowing you can go back to your 3-part breath, especially emphasizing the exhale. Have about another 1.5 minutes on this side if you can stay with it. The neck can hang down depending upon what variation you're in. Hanging in there for another minute if it's available. If you need to back out, do that. You can stay with it. 1 minute to go, a little less than a minute. Pretty heavy duty. We like to say in yin. I am a yin, I guess a bit of a yin yoga nerd. that the dragons are the most yang of all of the yin postures. They're quite fiery. At this point you may have really opened up, and you can change the height of your props if you were using them. And that was 4 minutes. So wherever you are, you'll begin to slowly, if you were forward, slowly walking up. We're going to move from here directly into Sleeping Swan. So a lot of juicy hip stuff going on today. So heel toeing your foot out to the side so that you're bringing your left knee in line with your left hip, slowly coming forward, lengthening that back leg. You can keep the blanket underneath your hips or your thigh. You can also work to stack your blanket a little bit higher, putting it under the left hip, and then beginning to fold forward. We're coming into the Sleeping Swan, so begin to fold forward. Please take some time to find your variation of the Sleeping Swan. You can use a prop for your head, maybe resting your forehead on something. You can also walk a little bit over toward the bent knee or away from it. So you want to find that edge, that sweet spot. And once you feel like you've found it, you'll know. You'll be like, all right, I've got that. I feel that. Target area is the outer left hip. You may feel it other places too. So we're holding this for 5 minutes. So once you've found your spot, hang in there. Letting go, releasing any tightness in the hips. Other than basic instructions, I'm going to be pretty quiet throughout the rest of the practice so that you really can feel deeply into your connective tissue, that you can watch emotions come and go. But know I am here with you. And most importantly, you are with yourself. You're halfway. Is there any adjustments if your edge has receded or gotten a little deeper and you need to make any adjustments doing that? Otherwise, see if you can stay with the stillness. Thoughts may come, thoughts may go. Just watching them float away without any attachment to them. Very often emotions can begin to arise in these hip-focused practices. And just welcoming and then letting them pass. Just about another 4 or 5 breaths here. You can connect with that 3-part breath if you wish, or just completely surrender. And if you'd like to remain here longer than this 5 minutes, you can do that. If you're ready to move out, it's a really slow process to come out. Just like you took time coming in, you might place your palms down and begin to walk up a little bit. If you have any props, moving them out of the way, we're getting ready to enjoy a sweet rebound. So you might roll onto that left hip, lengthen the legs out. You can turn onto your back or your abdomen for the rebound, moving slowly, reclining or being prone, letting go completely. Noticing if there's any warmth or tingling or any kind of heaviness or lightness that starts to come about, especially in that left leg. Just watch. So interesting. And then enjoy some gentle movement. I almost got carried away with that rebound. That's okay, we need it. Take whatever motions in your body that feels good, restoring some movement back to the body. Knees side to side could feel really good, either on your abdomen or on your back, going side to side. And then when you feel ready, we'll begin to explore those 2 postures on the second side. So this time the right leg is going to be in front, gathering the props you might need. We'll start with the dragon. So in that case, you're going to likely place that blanket underneath your knees again. Having any props handy if you're going to use those. This time we'll be stepping the right foot forward between the hands. We're holding the dragon for 4 minutes, so take your time getting ready. Remembering the options, first and foremost, making sure your knee feels safe. Back toes can be tucked under or lengthened. Body weight starts to come forward. You can be on blocks. You can have your hands on your thigh, making this more of an upright version. You'll have the front hip, feeling something in that front hip flexor, probably. You can also heel toe your right leg out to the side, bringing your hands to the inside of the right leg, staying upright, or coming into a lower version of the dragon, using any props that you'd like. So take some time to get set up. We have a nice juicy 4 minutes in this, making any adjustments with the back leg, with the front leg, and then when you've found your edge, that 70% point, begin to settle in. This is where we let gravity help us, letting the hips feel heavy. So we're targeting, as I mentioned, the front of the back leg, probably the hip of the extended, the leg that's in the front, the right leg. Take some time here to get in, and then resolve to be still. Do whatever feels natural for your neck. One more minute here if you can stay with it. If you need to come out sooner, do it. If you have opened up and want to come a little deeper, you can do that, changing your props. Less than half a minute to go. Staying here if you can. All right. Whew. So whatever variation you are in, use very slow movements to come up or to come out of it, keeping your back knee where it is. We're moving into the sleeping swan, so this is where we heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, that right leg across the body. Beginning to shift the weight onto that front shin. Please be gentle. So the closer your right heel is into your left hip, it might bring you a little more relief than having it very parallel with the front of your mat. From here, you can tuck your toes under and begin to lengthen out. You can keep that blanket underneath your hips, underneath your right hip, underneath your knee. So take some time moving into sleeping swan. With the sleeping version, we fold forward. Doesn't mean that you fall asleep, but you want the chest to come down. You can rest on your forearms. You can rest your head on a pillow, on a block or pillow, taking whatever variation you want. Also knowing you can walk your hands over to one side or the other to really find that threshold that you can sustain for about another 4.5 minutes. Once you're there, allow the hips to really, really, really be heavy. I'm going to be fairly quiet during these 5 minutes, so you can just really go within here. About another minute left. Is there any adjustments you'd like to make? Otherwise, be with the stillness, but take adjustments if needed, coming out if needed. Make sure your belly is soft. This is the good part. Use that extended exhale. Almost there. Stay with it if you can. You can do this. All right, that is 5 minutes. So the exit is super slow. Placing your hands on the mat, slowly walking up somewhat, moving your props out of the way, either resting on your back or your belly, coming into the rebound. As soon as possible, resting on your back or your belly. Enjoy watching, observing, feeling the resonance, feeling the residual effects of your practice so far. Let go. Watch. Listen to your body. And then taking some movement. What feels good for you right now? Oh, anything that feels good, do it. Some movement. Here's our yin or yang. Whatever feels good. Releasing any tension in the hips. Good. And then we'll prepare for backward bend. So I'm going to give you two choices. Especially if you come to class and you're accustomed to the saddle, those of you who know the saddle, it's a love or hate type thing. I personally love the saddle, but I'm going to show that, and then I'm going to show your other variation, which will be Sphinx. This is our back bend for today. So with the saddle, you can sit either between your heels or on your heels, and then begin to move back. Your knees can be together, they can be apart, you can lift them up, however it's comfortable for you. So, and then when you come back, you can lean back onto a prop. You can also put something right above your upper back. So if you have a block or a pillow, you can begin to lean back. You might have another block under your head. So that could be a really wonderful way to do your back bend. So I'm getting that curve in my back. Depending upon your anatomy and your experiences, again, you can also come all the way down if that suits you. Even so, there's usually going to be a curve in the back. You'll be getting a little bit more in your thighs as well. So that's one option. If that is not working for you today, then let's go ahead and move into the Sphinx. For the Sphinx, if you're, I'm going to start the timer for those of you who are moving into the saddle, because this isn't one you want to linger in for too long. So we're doing 3 minutes of that. If you're taking the Sphinx, come onto your belly, elbows underneath your shoulders, palms can be face down or together. Legs can be down, or if you want a little bit more into the thighs and the spine, you can lift your legs up today. You can experiment with taking your elbows further away. That's going to affect the back. Our target area is the spine here. So taking whatever variation you'd like. If you're in the Sphinx, your head can drop down, your chin to your chest. That might feel nice. Or you can look up. So find your variation today, and then let's settle in. Remembering your 3-part yogic breathing, if you can bring that about. Halfway, staying with it if you can. If you need to make adjustments, doing that. Otherwise, staying with the stillness. Staying in the stillness. And try to release any muscle tension. If you're gripping or holding somewhere, let it go. Let it soften. This is about the deeper tissues. Another few breaths. And if you'd like to remain here a little bit longer, you can. If you're in the saddle, you can use your elbows to help push yourself up. Use your core. You can also roll over to one hip. If you're in the Sphinx, you're going to begin to, if your legs were lifted, lower your legs. Wherever you are, we'll move into a rebound. So coming down onto your abdomen or onto your back for a minute to let all of that sink in a little bit more deeply, to integrate, let go, relax, really relax the spine, the thighs, the legs, hips. And then some movement. What feels good right now after that back bend? Moving your body in a way that you'd like to. Anything that feels nice right now. And then when you're ready, we'll come up to seated. So from here, we'll extend the legs out to the side, coming into the dragonfly. Some options here would be to place blankets or blocks underneath the knees. That could be very nice. You can also bring your legs a little closer together if extending them out to the side doesn't feel good for you. And then we'll begin with a dragonfly twist. So you'll lengthen the body, bring it over to the right side, and then begin to fold forward over that right leg. You can keep the hands as soft as possible. Feel free to use your block or pillow or blanket. You'd like to use that as a prop for your head. Try to relax the feet. You can shift a little bit on your sit bones, on your let your pelvis move a little bit until you find your appropriate depth. We'll be holding this for 2 minutes, so hunker down. Palms can even be face up if you feel like you're using your hands too much to bring you into the position. So you may feel a nice gentle tug on the inside of the left leg, the spine, the hips. This is a gentle twist of the spine, the backs of the legs, relaxing the shoulders, the facial muscles. You can also sit up on a blanket here. Sorry, I didn't mention that before you moved into it, but that's also a wonderful option. Breathing, 3-part yogic breath if you'd like. And that's 2 minutes. So to come out, use your hands to gently walk yourself up, slowly, one at a time. Then very gingerly come back to the center for a moment. A few breaths in the center. And then slowly walking over to your left side, beginning to make your way forward, using whatever props you'd like. Again, you can sit on a folded blanket, making any necessary adjustments, and then once you've found your appropriate depth, we'll begin to soften into it. Face is relaxed, legs are just soft and relaxed. The beginning, it's really, of each shape, it's really nice to see where you're feeling this. I can name places, but you might be feeling it somewhere differently. So doing that gentle scan of the body, noticing where you feel this most. It doesn't matter. It's just something you're noticing. What does matter is your focus. That you're allowing your body into these shapes. Riding the wave of the breath. Where can you soften? Another 2 breaths. The end of your next exhale, turning the palms to face down if they were up, and beginning to slowly and mindfully come up. Slowly and gently transitioning to the center, keeping the spine lengthened, the crown lengthening up. And then we'll come into the full dragonfly by folding forward. You can use props wherever you'd like. Remember, you may sit up on a blanket today. You can rest your forehead on a block or a series of blocks. You can rest your chest on the blocks. So finding your level of flexibility here. Really working with anything you have to bring you into your appropriate depth, that 70% point. We're holding this for 4 minutes. This is our last yin shape for the practice before Shavasana, so really letting it move, letting it, not your body move, but letting this shape move within you. Notice if your legs are tense or tight, see if you can really release from the groin. Making sure also that your shoulders are relaxed. Target area here is the inner parts of the leg as well as the spine. This practice is very intelligent, working with sensations that come up. That's the emotional, mental part, letting them go. And just feeling that whole physical aspect as we linger here, getting deep into the fascia. See if there's some resistance and see if you can release the resistance. And you soften 5% more. How does it feel to take a 3-part breath here, really focusing on the exhale? Almost there. You can stay with it, stay with it. And bask in it. And that was 4 minutes in the full dragonfly. If you want to stay there a little longer, you can. If you're ready to move out, begin to very slowly use your hands to help you up. Take your time. This is not something you want to just jump out of. No way. Really walk your hands up. And you'll get to this point where you'll feel this lightness up through the spine likely. Let that settle in. Using your hands underneath your thighs, lean back ever so slightly, bending your knees, drawing them in slightly, drawing one leg up, followed by the other. And then coming back onto your back, arranging yourself for Shavasana, or Shanti Asana, the peace posture. Take some time here. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. You might cover yourself with a blanket. You might rest your head on a folded blanket or a pillow. Arranging yourself so comfortably. I'm going to lead you through just a little bit of Shavasana, and then I'll leave you to stay here as long as you need. We've been practicing for a little over an hour and 5 minutes, so 65 minutes. We'd like to stay in about 6 to 10 minutes of Shavasana, even longer. That'd be really juicy. So as you settle in for final relaxation, allow the legs to relax and the feet to fall naturally out to the sides. The arms by your sides or a little bit away from your hips, palms facing upwards. Having a very slight tuck of the chin so you can have a nice elongation of the back of the neck, continuation of the spine. Allow yourself to get very settled here and feel supported by Mother Earth. Being caressed, held. One more time from the bottoms of your feet to the top of your head, scanning the body, releasing any tension, any tightness. There's nothing to do anymore. Being here. Letting that wave of relaxation move up the body, the feet, the legs, the hips, the legs are completely relaxed. Moving up into the pelvis, lower back, middle back, upper back, releasing the belly, the ribs, the upper chest, palms of the hands, backs of the hands, the arms, the shoulders, neck and throat and jaw. Mouth and tongue. Space between the eyebrows, soften. The eyes from the inner to outer corners are soft and relaxed. The forehead as if somebody has taken their hand and gently wiped away any cares, creases, worry lines. Soft like a baby's face. Staying here as long as you are comfortable. Going to chant the 32 names of Durga, Mother, the Divine Mother, Mother Earth. Durga, Durga Tishamani, Durga Padmini Varini, Durga Machedeni, Durga Sadhani, Durga Nashani, Durga Todharini, Durga Nihantri, Durga Mapaha, Durga Madhyanada, Durga Daitya Lokadavanala, Durga Ma, Durga Maloka, Durga Matma Swarupini, Durga Marga Prada, Durga Mavidya, Durga Mashrita, Durga Mariana Sanstana, Durga Mariana Basani, Durga Moha, Durga Maga, Durga Marta Swarupini, Durga Masura Sanhantri, Durga Mayudhadharini, Durga Mangi, Durga Mata, Durga Mya, Durga Meshwari, Durga Bhima, Durga Bhama, Durga Ba, Durga Dharini. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.